Hello, hello, beauties. Just getting a little bit of my Palo Santo going. Sat down for a little afternoon ritual of popping on and just making random videos for myself, for fun. Being here on the road, RV life, splitting my time partially on the road with Chris and then for home base back in Springfield. I'm just working on, following my bliss, doing things that make me happy for me. So thank you to those who indulge and take the time to watch. Speaking of random things to make videos and talk about, it's the most basic chick video that I could make, putting my makeup on and talking about whatever the hell I want. So let's do it. Chris and I had actually watched the new Game of Thrones, The House of Dragons. I don't know if any of you guys have seen it. And there was just, I think particularly the scene that, it was powerful. The king's wife was going into labor, and so during this scene of the queen going into labor, the Grand Mason pulls the king away, but the Grand Mason delivers the news that the baby is breech. And I believe the way he basically puts it is that sometimes men in this situation are given the difficult choice of choosing making an impossible decision. And so during this scene of the queen going into labor, the Grand Mason pulls the king away. It shows the king basically making the choice to have a C-section done, to have the mother cut open against, it's not a choice of her own to be made. He doesn't talk to her about it. He doesn't ask her anything. He just tells the Grand Mason, who is delivering the baby, do it, cut her open, see if we can save the baby. And I couldn't watch it, honestly. I just could not watch it. I know that was a reality during that time, but being a woman and seeing this depiction of another woman in distress not even be given an option or a discussion from her own husband about what's going to happen to her own body. I think just, being in so many situations myself growing up where I didn't feel like things that were done to me were consented. And knowing how many other people, men and women, have dealt with that, it just really triggered something in me. And I think it lit this fire, honestly, for how and why I am so passionate about empowerment and choice and consent with our own bodies and with our decisions. And it's honoring our bodies. It's honoring what feels good and right to us in the context of consensual relationships with other people. And it's the basis of power, because the most power that we have as individuals is over ourselves and over our own choices and decisions and boundaries, and how we communicate that with other people and how we interact with others, and also how we honor others and and their boundaries and their needs and desires. And whenever we have that awareness as a whole, as a society, that's what leads to beautiful change and co-creation and empowered people. And when people are empowered, they thrive and they are the best versions of themselves. And when we are the best version of ourselves, then those around us can also thrive and be the best version of themselves. And it's more harmonious and it's more balanced. And I think that, yes, there is always going to be chaos. There's always going to be issues. People are people. But this is part of the path. This is part of the growth and how it all starts within us as individuals and with us becoming more aware of our own personal power and what feels right to us, and communicating that with others. And so all of that was coming up for me last night, y'all. And so by the time that show was over, I was feeling like this strong, badass, wild, empowered, free, 21st century, awoke woman. And it's like I also felt such a gratitude for being a woman in this period of time where I can have choice over my body, and almost just wanting to reclaim that for myself and for all women everywhere. So yeah, you guys, full lunar eclipse combined with House of Dragon episode 1. Oh, the crazy Queen Emma was unleashed last night, you guys. Just to wrap this up, men, women, take ownership of yourself, take ownership of your needs and desires, communicate and speak your truth boldly. Do not ever, ever, ever feel like you have to do something or you're obligated to do something for someone else. Choice is very powerful. And yes, there are times to sacrifice, there are times to give, there are times to do things when we don't feel like it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in the context of interpersonal relationships, particularly giving of ourselves, our energies, and our bodies. First and foremost, you do not owe anything to anyone. And this was such a big lesson for me that I had to overcome, being a people pleaser myself, and always thinking about what other people wanted and needed and felt. I had to learn that we are all just trying to figure this shit out, and you just have to speak your truth confidently and kindly. And it's not your job to manage other people's emotions or disappointments. And that has been so huge for me. And I have had so many situations as well from some amazing men in my life that have helped me to realize that too. It's a co-creation here, people. Okay. I think for a long time I gave my power away and I would only think about, what other people wanted or expected. And I would place all of these expectations of what I thought someone else wanted from me. And I would let that affect so many things. It would let me affect not speaking up or speaking my truth. And I've just realized most of the time, I'm putting my own expectations of what I think someone else wants or needs or thinks about me. And most of the time it's not even true. And wow, has that been so empowering for me. And you just have to be true to yourself, and you have to speak your truth, and you have to know, like, it's okay if you disappoint someone else, or if someone else disappoints you, you know? We might not everyone may be able to meet our needs, you know, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Like, other people may not be able to do that for us, and that's okay. But you just have to trust yourself first. You've got to know yourself first, who you are, what feels right to you. And I think it just first and foremost starts in the most basic level within our bodies. You know, does this feel right? Does this feel good? And I'm not saying that, you know, things get hard and you don't work through them, and like if everything just doesn't feel perfect, you quit it. But I think many of us have a lot more issues with actually honoring ourselves and paying attention, and our bodies will let us know. You know, we have gut reactions for a reason, and I think many of us, we actually spend way more time trying to settle or, you know, get people to, you know, fit into this mold to be something for us or show up for us in a way that they simply are not able to, instead of just honoring ourselves and recognizing ourselves and our truth and knowing that it's okay if they can't, right? The only one that can really show up for ourselves and truly make ourselves happy is us, you know, is you. You are the only one. You are the only one and the number one person to know yourself and what you need. No one else can know that. No one else can read your mind. Even if they've known you for so long, you are still the only person that can advocate for yourself and your happiness. And I have found the more that I have done that outside of other people, without depending on other people in like a codependent way, the happier and more fulfilled my life has been. When I do things simply for me and I let other people be part of the co-creation, if they're able to, that's beautiful. And if they're not, that's okay too. So, thank you guys so much for anyone who actually stuck through all of this. And if not, it's okay, because I got to hear myself. I got to reinforce and, you know, speak some of my truth and hear myself talk. And if there's anyone else that has witnessed, if there's one person that has watched this and has gotten something from it, wonderful. Yeah, I've got to try something new, and who knows? We'll see where it goes. And I've got to, you know, take forever doing my makeup. And I've completed my first basic bitch video doing my makeup and talking about things that I want to talk about. Love you guys, and please feel free to send me love, comments, messages of anything that stood out to you or you found helpful. Have a wonderful day.